Issue Boy and Goon in the house, back with another bang on video where, ladies and gentlemen, finally it is very much clear that Arsenal, Liverpool, and Real Madrid are all interested in signing Boubakary Soumare from Leo. It's been pretty much clear that the midfielder has been eyed as a long term replacement for all of these clubs, and they are looking to sign him on a permanent basis. So let's see if Arsenal can get it down. But moving on, well, it is pretty much clear that Dayot Upamecano is believed to favour a move to Arsenal or Manchester United, but it looks like the RB Leipzig defender is believed to be a target for several Premier League sides right now, and also a Bundesliga giant in the name of Bayern Munich. Squadron Mustafi is wearing a limited edition Arsenal shirt with the zany design. Well, he can. Moving on, the Premier League is in talks with the government over showing live football on terrestrial TV when the season resumes. Well, Culture Secretary Olivier Dowden confirmed today that the top flight is considering showing games on free-to-view channels such as the BBC and ITV. The Prem could be shown on these channels to stop people going to their mates' house to watch. And the Premier League football is shown on Sky Sports and BT Sport here, which would both require subscriptions only. So moving on, that's a very good move actually. It's really beautiful because, yeah, moving on. Well, Emmanuel Adebayor has spoken about why he does not want to donate to Togo in this coronavirus crisis. He says, I am compared with Drogba and Samuel Eto'o. However, I am neither of them. I am Emmanuel Shea Adebayor, and I will always do what I want. For those saying I do not donate, let me be very clear. I do not donate. It is very simple. It is like some people believe that I brought coronavirus to Rome. Well, it's pretty much clear that he doesn't want to donate, and I think he should not be forced into donations. It's a noble cause, so if you're being forced into it, I don't think so that deserves a mention. Moving on, well, here's the problem. However, Arsenal will not be making it to the Champions League because if the Premier League is decided by points per game, Arsenal would go from ninth to 8th, finishing above Tottenham Hotspurs for first time in 4 years. Arsenal could enter the Europa League if the FA Cup does not resume. The massive legal caveat with using points per game, if you're trying to apply a Duckworth-Lewis method, clubs can point to the Premier League leaders who had dropped 2 points all season, going to relegation fodder like Watford and losing 3-0. And also, the Premier League faces the prospect of deciding Champions League positions and relegation spots in a one-off ties if the season has not successfully resumed by June. UEFA decide Champions League qualification will be decided on sporting merit if Premier League season can't be finished, meaning Manchester United, Tottenham, and Arsenal could all miss out the Champions League on points per game. But in the Premier League, Manchester United, Wolves, and Sheffield United would enter the Europa League, while Tottenham and Arsenal would not be in any European competition. But in Liga 1, for example, three options are put forward. One, award places based on standings at the end of the first round, that is week 19th. Number two, award places based on the last full match week, week 27, and average points per game. That's discrimination, isn't it? But moving on, Arsenal look set to turn Pablo Mari's loan move from Flamenco into a 10 million permanent deal, despite the fact that he's just made 2 appearances since his January arrival. But he forms a very important part of the back four because pretty much clear that Mikel Arteta wants a left-footed central defender, so he is being favored here. But David Ornstein, the Oracle, said that Arsenal Chiefs are keen on making a move on Pablo Mari, and he says, I understand it's very likely that they'll make the loan deal for Pablo Mari into a permanent deal for around £10 million. Moving on, Real Madrid are reportedly in pole position to land Ren starlet Eduardo Camavinga at the end of the season. Zinedine Zidane is said to be a huge fan of the 17-year-old, with the player believed to be top priority as the Spanish side looked to sign a defensive midfielder. Well, it's pretty much clear that they definitely got Fede Valverde, but they would definitely want to replace Luka Modric as soon as possible. Also, moving on, Aaron Ramsey has paid tribute to teammate Cristiano Ronaldo for helping him settle in at Juventus. He said, he's a great person as well as an unbelievable player and one of the best in history. For example, the first club I had a training session at the club. I went into the canteen and he said, come and sit by me. We just started talking immediately, and he made me feel at ease straight away, as did the rest of the team. That's a little insight of sort of the guy he is. I don't need to tell you about his footballing ability or the records he has, but I can tell you that he's a great guy. He loves his teammates and he gives everything in training. Arsenal have given up on a 26 million move for Atletico Bilbao's Unai Nunez as they aim to find a cheaper alternative. Arteta is desperate to strengthen his defense after what has been a poor season for Arsenal. We know that William Saliba returns from his loan from Saint Etienne, and it looks like Dayot Upamecano could be the solution, but Unai Nunez is definitely not one of them. Well, it clearly looks like former Arsenal midfielder Steve Robson believes that Nicola Pepe hasn't been used correctly by Unai Emery or Mikel Arteta till now. He says he's had one or two good games, a couple of good free kicks, but I'm not sure they've found the right position for him. They tried him on the right wing where he spent most of his time in France. Then they tried to play him up front for a couple of games. Yet he's got pace. He can do a lot of things. At the moment, they haven't got the best out of him. He doesn't look like a confident player, so he's a flop at the moment. But I think he can get better next year under Arteta. Cedric Soares believes, he said this, he says, I'm very excited for my first game for Arsenal. It's a game of patience and I know it will happen in the near future. It's a club I always followed from afar. I remember Ian Wright, Thierry Henry, Pires, Vieira, and Dennis Bergkamp. In a recent interview, he said that. But UEFA have put out a statement saying that they are releasing around 67 million euros in cash in advance to help clubs during the financial crisis. These funds were payable to clubs for allowing their players to play in the UEFA Nations team competitions. Arsenal are among the beneficiaries. Moving on, well, these were the news of the day. I hope you enjoyed whatever came your way. All the views and news and everything about Arsenal comes on this platform every single day, twice. So sit back, relax, and enjoy whatever the news are coming. You can always subscribe and hit that bell icon. I will see you in my next video. Until then, cheers.